Hi guys, so happy Sunday. Excuse the state of the hair, I've just got back from a run. Today I want to talk to you about the biggest lesson I learned when I lost all my weight. Okay, so I lost 40 kilograms, which is 6.5 stone in old money, in my 40s. I'm now in my 50s and I learned a very, very valuable lesson in my 40s. So today I'm going to tell you what that is. But first, a little bit of background about. So 10 years ago was when I decided I wanted to lose some weight. When I turned 40, at that point in time, I was sitting at just over 17 stone. I was a size 22 in a dress. I struggled to walk any distance. I wore ankle supports to walk around. I struggled to get up and down stairs. I struggled to get up and down off the floor without having to hold on to something. I was suffering from arthritic pain. I'd been to see the doctor. They said I'd got the early stages of arthritis and they told me that I needed to move more and take painkillers to enable me to do that. And I felt old, very, very old at the age of 40. So over my early 40s, probably the first 6 years or so of my 40s, I tried various things. Some of them I've talked about some of these videos, like apple cider vinegar and stuff like that. Some sensible, some not so sensible plans to lose weight. And I would lose a little bit and then I would gain some back. And then I would lose a little bit and I would gain some back. And so overall, my weight did go down a little bit over those 6 years, but not a lot. And it was a roller coaster of emotions and it was hard work. It was a really, really difficult 6 years. And I'm sure there are many of you out there listening to this thinking, yeah, losing weight is hard work. It really, really is. Well, I want to tell you that it isn't. It isn't hard work. It doesn't have to be that painful. It doesn't have to be that stressful. The trick is finding the right support and something that actually works. That is how you lose weight, and without it feeling awful, because it was awful for me for 6 years. What changed for me was finding Alex, the sports dietitian, because that worked for me. He helped me to make some huge physical and also huge psychological changes as well. And this is where that life lesson comes into play, because I not only lost all the weight that I've been carrying around since probably late teens, early 20s really, and all the even more excess weight that I'd piled on after I'd had my children. Working with the sports dietitian enabled me to learn this really, really valuable lesson that has changed my life in so many ways, so many ways. So let's talk a bit about that. So the first thing that happened, which set me on the path to my life, to my epiphany moment, shall we call it, was I found in Alex, the sport dietitian, a person who believed in me. I had no self-belief. When I started working with Alex, I didn't believe I could lose weight. I believed that as a perimenopausal woman with a history of emotional eating, I didn't stand a chance of actually losing weight and keeping it off. So over the years preceding meeting Alex, I had tried and failed, like I say, to lose weight, or tried and succeeded but then put it all back on again. It was this constant yo-yo of emotions, and I didn't think that there was ever any chance that I would get to be slim, fit and healthy. That was the dream, but it felt like a pipe dream. It felt impossible. But there's something that my old manager said to me when I was working clinically. I work as a psychiatric nurse, and an old manager of mine who was a psychologist turned around one day and said, our job as a mental health nurse is to hold on to the hope of our patients until they're ready to take it back for themselves. And it was a really powerful statement for me. This years and years ago it was on the ward once, and he said, you know, people have no hope. When people come to us in hospital, they have no hope. Our job as the staff team is to hold on to their hope and get them well enough so that we can give them it back and let them go out into the world and back into life with some hope for the future. And hope for the future is one of the things that I've got now. I believe that things are possible, and that self-belief started just very, very gently by finding somebody that believed in me. So that was step one, starting to get a little bit of self-belief. That, guys, is the secret to success. That is the thing that I learned very slowly and very insidiously through the last 4 or 5 years. And that is that if you believe, it's possible. Anything you believe is possible. And that for me started very much with my weight. Alex believed that I could lose weight. I didn't. But working with him, I did lose weight. So it became possible and believable. And the thing is, once you start to realise that if you believe something and you can make changes and you start to see changes in one area of your life, it has this ripple effect where it ripples out into other areas of your life. So I started off with Alex believing, and then gradually, with some little successes, I started to get a little bit of self-belief. Some of the long-held beliefs I had started to be challenged by the changes I was making. So I believed I couldn't run, but I started the Couch to 5K. And I remember the first time I ran for 2 minutes non-stop, it was insane. I felt so, it was such a buzz, you know. And I've run a half marathon a couple of weeks ago. I never in a million years thought that was possible. But it started off just thinking, well, if I've lost a bit of weight, maybe I can run a little bit. Oh, I've run for 2 minutes. Maybe I can run for 5. Run for 5. Maybe I can run for 10. And it built and it built and it built. I believed that I had no time to exercise. I believed that I was rubbish at exercise and sport because I'd had that belief since school. But getting some plans that worked for me, I started to do them and I started to see changes in my physical shape. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I can exercise. Maybe I can do more than I think I can do. So all these little things started to shift my self-belief. Yeah. I believed, one of the things I believed, guys, was that my bones were bigger than a size 10, so I could never ever be a size 10. I've been a size 10 for the last four years now. So that belief got thrown out of the water, for sure. So by the way, guys, if you are interested in what I'm talking about, if you're interested in learning about how to lose weight and it not be such hard work and how to have success, then just have a little look at the fat loss trainings that we've put a link to on the video, okay? You can just click, download, have a little read, no pressure, you know, it's up to you, just have a little nosy at them. Might be something interesting. It's all evidence-based. It worked for me. Who knows, it might work for you too. As I said, I started off getting this little bit of self-belief around my weight and around exercise, really, and that stemmed from finding the right support and that worked, and finding somebody that believed in me and held hope for me even when I didn't have any hope for myself, okay? The next thing that happened was all the psychological input I was getting and the support I was getting started, like I say, to shift some of those beliefs, like the fact that I couldn't run, like the fact that I would never be a size 10. All of these things started to change and my self-belief started to change. But the thing is, guys, when you start to believe something is possible around your weight or around exercise, like I say, it has this ripple effect. It ripples out into other areas of your life. Now, don't get me wrong, there have been times when I have thought, I cannot do this. There have been times when I was like, I'm throwing the towel in. There's been times when I've gained a bit of weight back and I've just been like, that's it, this is it. I'm falling into old habits, you know, I'm destined. But I can stop those thoughts in their tracks now because I know I'm in control. And this is the thing. When you start to get a little bit of self-belief in one area of your life, it starts to get into all of them and you start to develop this self-belief in multiple areas of your life. There's been times when things have been really difficult, okay? I got a shoulder injury and I couldn't do any upper body exercises for ages, and that really made me want to say, and throw the towel in, yeah? But then that little shift in that thought process about not lying down to limitations, I was like, well, do you know what? There's nothing wrong with this arm. There's nothing wrong with my legs. I can still do exercise. I just can't exercise this one arm. So it's just that little shift. It's so easy sometimes to say, oh, well, if I can't do it perfectly, I won't do anything. And that was a big, massive shift for me, was learning that actually something is better than nothing. Done is better than perfect. And that was a massive, massive learning curve. Not the biggest one, but it was still a massive learning curve for me. And let's face it, we all live in the real world. I mean, I'm a mum of 3, you know, I work full time. There are times when life throws us glorious curveballs that make things like exercising, sticking to a healthy eating regime really, really tricky and really just can't be bothered, okay? We all have them. We wouldn't be human if we didn't. But having that self-belief enables us to work through those things because we believe we can. Now, historically, I had so many limiting beliefs that would keep me stuck. Things like, I believed because my house value had gone down, I'd be in negative equity and I wouldn't ever be able to sell it, and I would be stuck with a massive mortgage for ages, and I would probably have to work until I was like 70, and that I couldn't move, and I would never have a state of financial security. That was one of the beliefs. And yet, starting to lose weight, which sounds really silly, but starting to lose weight, starting to believe these things like that I could run for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I started to think, well, hang on a minute, you know, maybe there's a way out of this. And it turned out there was. Once I started to believe it was possible, options opened up. And, you know, I'm not rich, guys. I'm certainly not rich, right? I'm a nurse. We know we do it for love, not for money, don't we? But I have got far more financial security now than I had, or I even dreamed was possible 5-6 years ago. I always believed that I would regain the weight I lost. You know, always historically, if I lost weight, I would put it back on again. So I believed that was going to happen this time. And yet for 4 years, I haven't put the weight back on. And now I believe that I won't. I believe that I'll go up and down because that's life. That's part of human nature, okay? But I believe that I will remain fit and healthy now forever because I like it and I know I can. So the thing is, the bigger your self-belief gets, the bigger your dreams and your goals get. And actually, the more we dream and the more goals we have, the more we achieve. And that's awesome. One of the other things I learned was about setting little wins, right? If you've got 6 stone to lose, I had 6 stone to lose, yeah? Don't think I'll celebrate when I get to 6 stone because that's such a long journey and it's such a long way off. And the truth is, if we have to wait until then to celebrate, this is when we start to give up. If we have to wait that long to celebrate, this is when we start to give up. So don't care if you've got 6 stone to lose, guys. If you lose 2 pounds, celebrate. If you lose a kilogram, celebrate the chuff out of it. Book yourself in for a manicure because you've lost 2 pounds. Why the heck not? Treat yourself to a bubble bath, a candlelit bubble bath because you've lost another 2 pounds. Why not? You've just done your first sit-up since school. Go out and, I don't know, do something you enjoy. Celebrate everything, no matter how little and insignificant it seems. It's not insignificant. It's progress. I remember telling Alex when I ran that first 2 minutes, I was like, I ran for 2 whole minutes. 2 whole minutes. And he was like, yes. Because he shouts in capitals all the time in text. Yes. And it felt so good to have somebody celebrating it. And you know, like now I think, God, 2 minutes, wow, that's, you know, it's nothing. But back then, from where I was, from the girl that used to wear ankle supports just to walk, from the person that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs without pain and breathlessness, running for 2 minutes was an insane level of progress and it needed to be celebrated. So this is the thing that a really, really valuable lesson I learned was to celebrate, no matter how small the win is, just celebrate the chuff out of it because it gives you such a buzz and it makes you want the next win. The other thing that I kind of learned over time is that as I started to believe things was possible for me and I started to celebrate these little wins and I started to progress, that ripple effect in my life from changes around my own weight into thinking that I could actually get more financially secure to thinking that maybe I could push myself out of my comfort zone in other ways, that I could deal with other challenges more. In that, as it started to ripple through my life, it started to ripple into the people around me's life as well. And I started getting people saying, do you know what, Mish, because you've done this, I thought I'd try that. Because you've done this, I thought I'd try that. And that is such a buzz. How much joy do we get from seeing other people get joy? You know, people say, isn't it, the gift of Christmas is in the giving of the gifts. And it is when you see other people open something and you've really put some thought into it and they're properly chuffed. It's awesome. It's a wonderful feeling. And that's the other way that this ripple effect carries on. So you start to have somebody else believes in you and you start to believe in you about one thing. And then you start to believe in you about other things. And then other people start to believe in you more. But then that in itself lights this little seed that actually maybe they should start to believe in themselves as well. And that is such a gift to think that you can maybe set somebody else off and inspire them to make some positive changes in their life. That's seeing that is blooming marvellous. So this is why I'm here, guys. I lost loads of weight in my 40s. Okay, big deal, you know, but that is not the big lesson I learned. The big lesson that I learned in my 40s through losing weight is self-belief is catching. And self-belief is everything. And if you don't believe in you, find somebody that does believe in you. Find somebody that believes in you. Find the right support. And trust me when I tell you anything is possible. You can lose 2 pounds. You can lose 2 stone. You can revisit and change some of those relationships in your life when you've got the self-belief. You can get that better job when you've got the self-belief. You can inspire your kids and your family when you've got that self-belief because they'll start to see it in you and they'll start to mirror it. It ripples out. And that's the thing I learned, guys. That is the thing I learned. It's not just losing weight. It's not just one tiny little thing. It affects everything and everything gets better and everything gets better, not just for you, but for the people around you as well. It's so much bigger. So find the right support. And if listening to me waffle on has been in any way, shape or form interesting or has made you think, well, hang on a minute, thinking about where she started and where she is now, maybe there's hope for me yet, then I will tell you now, there is hope for you. I have hope for you. So click on the video, watch about the 8 pillars of sustainable change. Start the ball rolling. You might not believe it's possible today. I didn't, but one day you will. And I know you will because because I got there. And if I can get there, I ain't out special, so you can too. I'm going to start like how Alex started for me. He believed, or he had hope for me. I believe, and I've got hope for you. So click, have a listen, have a look, find out some more information, reach out, and the world is your oyster, because that's the big secret. Changing one little thing, it grows and it becomes more and more awesome by the day. Enjoy. It's been lovely talking to you. Bye bye.